At 6:15 a.m., my alarm went off. I rolled over, hit the button, and went back to sleep. When Colin came downstairs at 7, the kitchen island was bare. No espresso, no oats, no perfectly poached eggs. He stopped in his tracks for 2 seconds. Above his head, no breakfast today? Well, at least it saves me the routine. He grabbed his car keys and walked out the door. He didn't even ask if I was feeling okay. I stood by the second-floor window, watching his sleek black Audi pull out of the driveway. Usually, I would run out to the porch in my robe to wave and tell him to drive safely. Today, I stayed behind the glass. He didn't look back. At noon, I didn't send him a text. I used to send at least 5 texts a day. Did you eat lunch? Are you slammed today? I miss you. Looking back, his replies were always identical. Yeah, fine, busy. I unlocked my phone and sent a message to Roxy instead. Roxy, call Craig at the Mercer Gallery. Let's talk about the solo exhibition. 3 seconds later, Roxy replied with a wall of exclamation points. Summer, you finally woke up. Craig has been waiting on standby for 8 months for this. I smiled. A real smile, not the plastic one I wore for Colin. That afternoon, I drove across the river to the West End. I wasn't grocery shopping. I wasn't running errands for the house. I walked into a commercial real estate office. Hi, I'm looking for a loft or a studio space in the arts district. Just a wide open room with good light. The young agent was eager. What's your budget, ma'am? Under $3,000 a month. I've got the perfect keys right here. Let's go look. When I walked out of the agency an hour later, the afternoon sun hit my face. The March wind was still carrying a late winter chill, but as I breathed it in, I realized it was the most comfortable afternoon I'd had in 3 years. Colin came home that evening at 7:30, earlier than usual. He took off his shoes and walked into the living room. The dining table was empty. The kitchen was dark and cold. Summer? I walked out of the bedroom holding a paperback novel. Yeah? He glanced at the empty table. No dinner? What kind of tantrum is this? You didn't cook? He asked. No, I was a bit tired today. Didn't have the energy, I said, my tone incredibly flat. There's some frozen ravioli in the freezer. You can boil it yourself. Colin stared at me. Whatever. If she wants to be lazy for a day, let her be lazy. He walked into the kitchen. I heard the faucet turn on, then off, the metallic clatter of a pot hitting the stove grate. For the first time in 3 years, he was boiling his own dinner. I turned a page of my book. I felt no pity, no guilt. I only felt that I should have done this 1,000 days ago. A week passed. I didn't wake up at 6. I didn't send the 5 daily texts. I didn't rush to the door to take his briefcase, pour his water, and present a plate of sliced fruit the second he walked in. I stopped asking if he was tired or what he wanted for dinner. The change in our dynamic was massive, but Colin's reaction was minimal. For the first 3 days, his subtitles read, "Finally, some quiet. It's actually nice that she's not hovering. Did she read some dumb magazine article about giving men space? Whatever. I don't care." He actually seemed relieved. I watched those subtitles drift through the air, and a cold smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. Fine, enjoy the quiet. On Wednesday evening, my mother-in-law arrived again, and this time she didn't bring honey. She brought Doris. Summer, Doris said she was craving your famous beef bourguignon, so I just had to bring her over, Constance beamed, making herself entirely at home. Doris and Colin are the ones who actually belong together. If it weren't for that ridiculous debt to her father, Doris would be the lady of this house. Doris took off her coat and strolled in, looking as comfortable as if her name was on the deed. I am going to make sure Colin sees exactly why I am superior to Summer tonight. In the past, a sudden ambush like this would send me into a panic. I would have scurried into the kitchen, desperately throwing together a gourmet meal while wearing a permanent, accommodating smile, terrified of offending either